Hey guys, welcome to the General Drinker. You know who I am, I'm Jay.
And I'm Blake.
And today we're gonna answer the question, can bourbons or whiskeys that have the exact same things printed on them be the exact same in terms of taste? What's the answer to that question, Blake?
Well, they should be the exact same, but not in all cases.
Not in all cases, as we have found out. So tell them the story.
Okay, so when this Maker's Mark FAE-02 limited edition came out, I was really excited. I got a buddy of mine who found a couple of bottles to get them for us. He got a bottle for himself, got one for me, and immediately shared it with my good buddy Jay here. And we were blown away, you know, amazing texture, mouthfeel, notes. I mean, it was an amazing bourbon. My buddy, he was not very impressed with it, which, you know, I just kind of chalked up to, you know, maybe it's
not having good taste.
Or bad taste.
Yeah.
So, so anyway.
Sorry if you're watching this.
Ever since Jay has been looking for a bottle for himself.
Yep.
Finally found one a few months later, strangely enough, just sitting on a shelf and when, you know, they were unavailable everywhere. Purchased the bottle, we tried this one, and it was a completely different experience to the original that we had tried.
Not even close.
And so we, you know, tried both again. It's just a night and day difference.
Yeah. So here's the thing, you know, we haven't had this in a while, so we decided to try them side by side for you guys on camera, because we thought maybe we were crazy at first, right? Because this one was so good, and I mean, you can obviously tell. This one was amazing, and it was the first one for me personally that I actually got apple off of, because I've never gotten apple off of bourbon before. I've seen reviews and heard people talk about getting apple and different fruits off of bourbon. There's some behind us that even have the same notes. I've never gotten it before, I just haven't. So for me, I was like, I have to have this bourbon. I've got to get me a bottle. It's the first bourbon I've ever gotten apple notes off of, and I absolutely love and adore it. So I have to have some. So when I got this bottle, you can imagine the way I felt when I tasted it, and it didn't taste anywhere close to being the same. So today on camera, with our palates completely cleansed and everything fine, we're gonna take a sip of both bottles and kind of compare what we find. Now, obviously taste is very subjective, and you may not get the same notes that we get. Now, and also, these bottles, temperature makes a difference, barrel makes a difference, the location in the warehouse makes a difference. Literally every single thing that happens inside of that barrel, inside of that batch, makes a difference.
And the smallest change when you're talking about bourbon can make huge differences when you're talking about, you know, taste, texture,
I mean, everything, mouthfeel, right? The nose notes, the mouth notes, exactly. The taste, you know. So we're gonna compare today and let you guys know what we find. Now, full disclosure, unlike some other bourbons that are out there and whiskeys that have, Blanton's is a great example.
Yeah, see, so on this Blanton's bottle, it tells you when the bourbon was dumped, which barrel number, which rick it was on, and which warehouse it was stored in. And all that information is printed right on the bottle. But these FAE-02 bottles are distinct because no information, no age, no batch number. And from all my research online, I'm led to believe that all these should be from the same batch, which, you know, just kind of had us scratching our heads when we had these two seemingly identical bottles that were so different.
Yeah.
I mean, from everything, the pretty much the only similarity is the texture. So the FAE-02 series, you know, is unique because it's not cold filtered. The oils from them, they're not, you know, they don't solidify and get filtered out like other bourbon. Maker's Mark doesn't do that. So the fatty oil esters, which is where the FAE name comes from, is present, you know, in the bourbon. And these two bottles both, you know, maintain that similarity. But besides that, this one here, the one that Jay got, it is definitely a higher proof, you know, much more burn on the back.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, the notes are different. It's just blowing our mind how different these two seemingly identical bottles are.
So the question I asked was, are they supposed to be different? No, evidently not. Otherwise, I would think that Maker's Mark would say something about that. Can they be different? Yes, because there's not exactly any proof that they're not, because on the bottle it just says that this is FAE-02 and this is FAE-02. That's all it says. We don't have any kind of different barrel information or batch number or whether it was picked by a different person or tasted by a different master blender. I mean, we have no information.
No.
And they say the same proof, they say the same alcohol per volume, but there's obviously dramatic differences between these two bottles. So,
Definitely.
can bourbon makers get by with having vastly different bourbons if they don't put any information on the bottle?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, ordinarily, you know, a person will buy a bottle of this, and if they get, you know, this bottle here, then they're like, you know, it doesn't really suit me that well. I mean, they may love it because, I mean, taste is, you know, subjective. But I mean, if somebody picks up this bottle as opposed to this bottle, I mean, they're going to have a wholly different experience. They're going to be looking for more, just like we were, and then supposedly this right here is a unicorn because every, you know, other bottle we've tried has been
It's
right
tasted
here.
like this, right? Which is,
And that
is vastly different.
That makes you think, you know, there's these reviews and, you know, opinions, people, you know, giving you recommendations about this FAE-02. I mean, did they taste this, which is drastically different than this? Is there another bottle that, you know, may even be a more drastic difference? Who knows? Because we have a small sample size. It's a limited release. We can't find any more bottles, so we have to, you know, go with what we've got so far.
That's exactly right. And so today, with you guys here, we've cleansed our palates. We haven't had this in a very long time, so we're going to try them both and just kind of see what kind of notes and taste that we get from both of them. Again, this is all subjective. You may get different notes or tastes than we do, and that's absolutely fine. But anybody, no matter what you drink, will definitely be able to tell the difference between these two as far as what we felt before. So now on camera, we're gonna try it again. So here we go. So let's try them out. We already poured some of this bottle, which we believe to be the hotter, different bottle, right? So let's get some notes on the nose.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, my friend. Immediately I get heat. I get a lot of heat. This doesn't really seem like a bourbon that's 109. It seems like more than that. And I know that's tough to do. There's not many out there that are more than that. But it seems so strong. Whoa. Lots of spice.
Yeah, lots of spice.
Tremendous amount of spice. A lot of heat.
You still get that that buttery texture, you know, the mouthfeel I was talking about earlier.
I agree. Still a good, and I know how you love mouthfeel.
Yeah, mouthfeel is everything.
It's still got that buttery texture. It's like a medium. I would associate it to a medium body bourbon. You may feel differently out there, but I associate it more to a medium body bourbon. It's got a buttery mouthfeel. I still get some kind of fruit. It's definitely not apple.
Yeah, I get like an apricot off of this one.
Okay. All right, apricot. Yeah. Okay, I could see that. But just the spice is just so overwhelming, right?
Yeah, it's definitely got some heat.
Wow. Yeah, I'm having trouble with that, with the amount of heat on it.
Yeah, I mean it's a good bourbon.
It's a good bourbon.
It's got some kick to it. It's got some burn on the end.
Man, it's got some burn on it. Let's cleanse our palate to get ready for the next one, right? So again, you know, for me, lots of spice, lots of heat. I mean, this is something strong. This is something I would pour somebody to impress them that I'm a badass. But seriously, that I'm a man. You know, this is like, hey, do you drink bourbon? No, well, I got something. I'm going to tell you why I do. You know, and give them a pour of this and just have them, you know, completely off their rocker.
What was the proof on that Wild Turkey Rare breed?
I had a Wild Turkey Rare breed that was one, and those have different batches and different proofs. Now, I've had several different proofs of Rare breed, and I had one in particular that was 116.8, and it was amazing. Super duper strong. It had a candy taste, candy finish to it. Great bottle. Have never had one that higher proof or tasted like that since. This tastes stronger than 116.8.
Yeah,
I swear it does.
I would agree. That's what I was just thinking, that this tastes.
My God.
It's higher proof than that Rare breed was.
Now, White Dog made by Buffalo Trace is the whiskey before it's turned into bourbon from Buffalo Trace. White Dog is clear, and it's like straight ethanol. I mean, it's the whiskey that turns into Buffalo Trace before they age it in the barrels, okay? So it's clear, it's whiskey, you can buy it, you buy it in small bottles. It's really good to mix with. And so that is super duper strong. It's so strong, in fact, I use it to clean some things with. I know that might sound strange to some of you, but some things that I need to be cleaned naturally without any harsh chemicals or anything, I actually use White Dog for, and distilled water. And obviously white vinegar. So some things we want to clean naturally, right? And I found that 125 proof White Dog does a hell of a job cleaning. Because it's so strong, and this is strong. I mean, this is not dramatic, folks. This right here is very, very, very strong. It doesn't make any sense to Blake and I. We talked about this before filming. It just doesn't make sense.
Hence the reason for this video.
Exactly. The whole reason behind this video.
I've done research online, and I can't find anybody else talking about this, which, you know, these are limited release, and it's kind of hard to get multiple bottles anyway.
Right.
So that, you know, may be, you know, the reason why there's no talk about this, but I looked for, you know, different batches, and from everything I've seen, these should all be, you know, the same batch. So they should all taste exactly the same. That's
right. And so we're going to taste the second bottle. Before you guys say anything about the water in the glass, there was water in the glass before this one too that we drank. So a little bit of water is not going to be as dramatic of a difference as what these two are. Okay, so we've done this to ourselves off camera multiple times, tasted these bottles.
Ever since
it's too drastic.
Ever since we got this second bottle, we've done blind taste tests. A little while back.
You want to know what's interesting?
What's that?
Almost both of these bottles are gone from us asking WTF.
Exactly.
WTF.
Yeah,
what the? Really?
This one I have about.
We haven't even been able to enjoy these, right? Because we've just been trying them over and over. Like, what is going on here?
Blind taste test, no bias. I mean, we've mixed the bottles up.
We've tried everything.
Yeah.
And we still end up picking this as the stronger, very vastly different bottle every single time.
And this the
we've
vastly
had other people
superior
involved.
bottle.
We've like, hey, look, pour us whatever and let us try. We pick this every single time as the one that, wow, that is just so strong. It's vastly different. It doesn't have apple notes in it. It's got so much spice. Exactly. It's amazing. So here we are on camera doing it again. So cheers, my friend. Let's try this one.
So I'm getting apple notes from this one.
I got apple notes immediately. Immediately smoother. I didn't make a face drinking that. You know, I didn't have to hold my head down.
It's so much smoother.
It's so different.
It's ridiculous.
It's not. We shouldn't have even made this video. We should have just driven to Kentucky and asked Maker's Mark WTF. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, look, hey, your master blender needs to try these two and give us an explanation. I'm serious, because there's no way they can say that this is the same bourbon.
Yeah, it's vastly different. And like I was saying before with the Blantons, you know, everything is printed, you know, the batch number, where it was stored in the warehouse, which warehouse it was in. And so every, you know, Blanton's batch that you get is going to be slightly different. But I've never had 2 bottles of Blanton's that have been more different than these 2 seemingly same batch of bottles of FAE-02.
Now,
so it's blown me away.
And you have master blenders, right? Like with everyone that taste the barrels and make sure that the consistency is there, because hey, there's a reason why in your family growing up, maybe you had a bourbon or whiskey drinker, maybe your dad, your granddad, your mom, grandma, whoever it was, they had a bottle of something always in the shelf, always in the house. And the reason why they did that is because the consistency was there. That's what they liked. That's what they enjoyed. They got the same flavor, the same notes every single time. You have master blenders in place specifically to make sure things are the same. So just like, let's look at this Henry McKenna here, bottled in bond, barrel number 10713, barreled on 42711. This, I've had probably 30 bottles of this before. It always tastes the same. You have master blenders in place to make sure that the consistency is there and what you know and love remains the same and remains what you know and love.
Well, the same thing with Blanton's, like every batch number does taste slightly different. Like you can pick some different notes here and there. But they do have those master blenders that taste it and you know, make sure that the consistency is there. Yeah,
the foundation's there.
Exactly.
What we hold true to, our mash bill, the location in the warehouse, you know, the temperature throughout the year when we decided to bottle it and things of that nature. Those are all consistent. Those are all the same. They lead to the same types of flavors and notes that you're used to and that you love and that you grow fond of and enjoy.
And so then you get these 2 bottles that are supposed to be identical but are not.
Not like, even close.
You could see these 2 bottles right beside each other at the store and, you know, pick one up. If you get this one, you're going to have a vastly different experience as if you get this one.
You may love this one. You may hate this one. For us, it is the exact opposite.
I don't think anybody would hate that one.
Well, yeah, you'd have to be like a psychopath to hate this one.
If I could consistently get this bourbon and this bottle right here, I would pay $100 a bottle all day.
So this bourbon,
it is that amazing.
This particular bottle of bourbon, smooth, medium body, nutmeg, apple, great consistency, amazing flavor, amazing taste. This is something, and Blake and I are mostly neat drinkers. We would be comfortable drinking this anyway, because the best way you like to drink it is how you like to drink it, right? So we would drink this on ice, neat, mixed, whatever it may be. This is an all-around phenomenal bourbon worthy of being one of the top bourbons on your list. This will put some heat on you.
Yeah.
This will change your life in certain ways. If you go through this
still...
bottle with a friend during a party, there's some, you're probably waking up in prison the next day.
And don't get us wrong, this is still a decent bourbon, but this bottle over here is just an entirely different class altogether.
Yeah, it's so, okay.
And so the thing to take away from this
is Roadhouse, right? And this is like Mafia Don, right? This is what you drink when you're about to get into bar fights and some shit's going down. And then this is what you drink when you're at the top of the pool and no one wants to mess with you. I mean, that's the best way I can describe it.
With that being said, the thing to take away from this is if you try a bourbon and don't care for it,
Try it again.
Yeah, give it a second
Try it
chance.
again.
It might be completely different the second time.
Just like they say with cigars, right? We're big cigar smokers, right? They say it all the time. If you try a cigar and don't like it, try it again. Maybe that cigar wasn't aged as long as the other one, or maybe it was a different humidity. Maybe when it was blended and rolled that day, the roller had a bad day and didn't quite master that roll like they did all the other rolls. Maybe something was a little off, so just try it again, right? Age it correctly, humidify it correctly, and try it again, because you'll get a different smoke, different experience, different burn, different flavor from that cigar. And that's something we do. We're big cigar smokers, so we smoke different cigars multiple times all the time to find that consistency. We're telling you today, try the same thing with bourbon. Even if you have the same batch number or barrel number, go ahead and try it again, because we've obviously answered the question today. If you don't have that information, it's up in the air.
Yeah, it could be drastically
different.
Exactly.
Right? So, kudos to everyone, and this is not a dig at Maker's Mark, but kudos to everyone who puts
Maker's Mark.
We do love Maker's Mark. And Maker's Mark, again, kudos to them for helping bring bourbon back from being just your granddad's bourbon that no one liked, to in the early 90s up until now, bringing it back into mainstream and making bourbon, helping make the industry as popular as it is today. Exactly. Maker's Mark is responsible for that. Whether you understand it or not, do some research. They are responsible for putting bourbon back on the map. So kudos to them. But kudos to everyone who puts barrel numbers and batch selections and picks and everything else on their bottles, because these two have the same exact things printed on them, and they're not the same bourbon. They're just not at all. Not at all. So thank you guys for watching today. We hope that you enjoyed the content. We hope that you stick around and view more content that we put out. We've got some exciting things coming up in the future, right?
We got some really exciting content coming. You guys stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Glad I was able to introduce Blake to you today. He's a big part of the channel, our partner here at Gentle Drinker, and I really appreciate you guys. So subscribe, like, hit the bell for notifications. We are going to get more consistent in the content that we release, so we hope that you stick around, and we're extremely grateful to every single one of you as we start this YouTube journey and video journey just in general. So thank you so much. I'm Jay.
And I'm Blake.
We're signing off, and we'll see you in the comments. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.